All right. So we have a producer and comedian who produces a show at Flappers called Hot Medusa, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right, Dana?
Yes, the Hot Medusa comedy show. I did it 2 weeks ago. We love her. She is amazing. We can say fucking amazing, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And, and in addition to the Hot Medusa, in addition to the Hot Medusa, she also hosts a couple of mics at Flappers. I've jumped on her open mics, and so she is definitely the hostess with the mostest, and an amazing comedian herself because I've been on shows with her as well.
All right. Suwon Weaver. Hello, how you doing?
Hi, good to see you guys. All those nice intros. I'm like, oh my goodness, gotta live up to that. Yeah.
Should we put one bad one in there? She also sacrifices people in Central Park on the full moon. Like,
perfect.
Oh my.
That's a lot of plane tickets because you live near us anyway. So
why don't we just throw in? She loves Bridgerton. So
there you go. Dan.
What did you think when you got to the part where it's like 20 minutes of softcore? Was that interesting for you too?
Yes, it's juicy and delicious. There's gorgeous people on there. Come on.
Hey, people watch it for that, all right?
That is what people watch it for.
Damn it.
Learning about from Game of Thrones. Yes.
The beautiful people are having sex. It's very nice.
We're humans, Dan. We're humans.
Well, I got to tell you, it's a little one-sided because, anyways, we're not going to talk about the scenes. It's like they only care about her. No, it's funny. I don't want to go into detail. Why don't you watch the show?
Welcome to the podcast. We're happy to have you on with us.
Yeah.
What drew you to stand-up comedy? I'm really curious. I'm always curious with other comedians.
Right into the serious questions. I like it. You know what? I think it was just a way to really express myself, and also I always loved comedy, so it was nice to. You have the power when you have the mic,
Oh, yes.
You're not sharing the stage with other people doing improv, trying to figure out how to, share the stage. It's you. You get your point of view. You get to say it's your show. So that's why it drew me.
Oh, okay.
The power. Here it is, though. Yeah, and it's so good to see you guys because, I just saw Danny the other night, and Steven, Dan, we've been on shows together too, so that's all.
Oh yeah, Tao comedy shows, Flappers open mics, all the fun stuff.
Yeah, and Stacy, hi.
You can't do a gamer high really well. Hi.
Hi.
Where do you think I learned that? It's from the incredible Alaska Thunderfuck. Hi.
Oh, nice. Yes, Alaska.
Oh my god. That's a reference I actually don't get. Now I'm not
here
with
what do you watch? Are you watching anything interesting in the quarantine, Suwon?
Well, of course I'm going to say Bridgerton.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I think we kind of covered it. It was kind of interesting.
I know. It's fine. I binge watched it. That's how you watch it. You just go right through it. And it's great. It's fine. I started watching Flack. You know that? It's also on Amazon. So it's based out of Scotland, but it has Anna Paquin. She's such a good actress.
Ooh. Oh yeah, I love her in True Blood and the X-Men movies. So,
right. It's a little dark though, so I'm like, all right, let's see. But you know what I just saw? I just saw for the first time is I saw Indiana Jones, the one with Actually, I've never seen any of the Indiana Jones.
Ooh, Temple of Doom when you get a chance.
Oh, okay, I will. But I just saw which one? I don't know.
Was it the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
No,
Shia LaBeouf?
Well, this one is the one with the James Bond guy.
Oh, Sean Connery. So you saw The Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Oh, The Last Crusade. Yes. The River Phoenix. Yeah. Isn't it weird that if you think about it, River Phoenix played the young Indiana Jones, but Indiana Jones plays an age River Phoenix never got to.
Oh. Okay. Look at you waxing philosophy here.
That's sad, but that's true.
Oh man, that's one of the better ones. That's one of the better ones. If you don't watch the last one with Shia LaBeouf. That one's horrible.
I believe it.
Hot garbage.
Why is he so terrible? Sorry.
Apparently, he makes it really good, and then every once in a while, there's something, blah blah. Like, I don't know, the 4chan guys that do all the goofy stuff. He did that one thing with the flag in the middle of the field or something, and he put up a flag saying you'll never be able to take this down, you won't be able to find it, and the 4chan guys used the star above it to figure out where it was, and then they went and replaced it with a troll flag, and it's like, yeah, it was just chaos, but it was pretty funny.
So who was one of the first comics that you ever saw, or a comic you feel is like an influence on your style?
Okay, so I watched lots of I Love Lucy when I was a kid, in black and white, right? Like that was the best. Like, so first of all, she's so goofy and there's a lot of slapstick, but she's also so smart, right? Like this first, like who she really was the smartest woman, like a producer, and did multicam for the first time. And like, this is like a brilliant lady. But made herself into such a goof, like that one where she's like smoking a cigarette and her nose catches on fire. I mean, there's a million goofy ones. Vita Vita Vegemin.
The chocolate one, man, when she just can't keep up with the chocolate.
That's my avatar at work for a reason.
Okay.
How do you guys feel about the fact that they're making a movie based off her life?
Well, I'm happy who's playing Ricky Ricardo. It's Javier Bardem, I believe it is.
Yep.
I just don't, unless I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but I like Nicole Kidman. Don't get me wrong. I really do. But I think who was going to play her previously,
it's supposed to be Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett, I think would have been a way better Lucy.
We're all mad about it. We're all mad about it.
No, yeah,
we're all mad about it. I'm a huge Kate Blanchett fan. I have a lot of respect for Nicole Kidman. Like one of my favorite movies, honestly, even though I haven't seen it in forever, is The Hours. I think The Hours is so beautiful.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Very beautifully done. And she does her thing in The Hours. Like she really does. Like, man. Yeah. But for the role of, Lucille Ball, come on. Like I think Kate Blanchett would have been fantastic, and I'm truly a fan. People may feel some kind of way because of the Judy Garland, but I think Renee Zellweger would have been. Yeah,
she could have done it too. Somebody who's quirky, silly,
got the chop,
funny, playful,
that we know of.
Yeah.
I'm still bummed out that they passed on Bobby Lee for Ricky Ricardo.
Bobby Lee.
What the hell?
That's serious. Way too serious. No,
at first I was like, what? I'm happy homie's getting work, but what?
Yeah, that was so random.
I want him to have work, but that's just crazy.
Right.
I had you going for a minute. You guys are like, what did I miss? Let me go online real quick.
The shit out of me.
No, we were like, are you serious? Like,
you scared me.
Now, we have talked about actors that have gone above expectations. I would have given the man a chance.
And don't laugh. Like, here's the thing. And Dana is going, so who the fuck is Bobby Lee? Like, I literally was like, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah.
I was like,
it was on Mad TV.
Let me Google it. I didn't even get the joke. Like, it felt kind of random, but I was just kind of like, well, let me give
he's in that new Pauly Shore movie on Netflix with me and Stacey's friend Leslie Wolf.
Let's start with he's a little chubby Korean guy. So
once you Google it, once I Googled him, the image spoke 3,000 words. Then I
You're like,
was he
Dan,
shirtless?
I was like, what happened?
With his hand on his nipple? Like, what did you find? I'm so afraid to Google search Bobby Lee as of lately.
No, he's awesome. He has an amazing
he's
podcast
hilarious, but
called Tiger Belly, and I love Tiger Belly. I watch Tiger Belly religiously. It's also one of the highest rated podcasts on YouTube, actually.
He is hilarious.
He looks funny though. Like, here's the thing. I believe I would check him out because he looks funny. Just, obviously not Ricky Ricardo, but
it's crazy. You know what? His personality in like real life too is insane. Like he
looks that way.
He is very well. You know what? A lot of people, what they do is they put a persona on stage. I'm guilty of it too, where I'm myself, but I'm also a very dramatic version of myself on stage. So when I'm backstage and I'm no longer on there, I'm like chill. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, that's awesome. No, Bobby Lee is like, woo! Like I'm like, what are you on? Can I have some?
He's sober too.
Yeah, he had people that had to defend him because he was doing really crazy. I'll just say it this way without getting too explicit, but naked stuff that he should not be doing in like producers or executives' office. Let's just say that, okay?
This is Bobby Lee?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
When he was young. He doesn't do it now like that.
Okay.
I mean, he still messes around, but not like that.
He kind of gets naked, like
Yeah,
a lot.
he still does.
Almost. I mean, it's pretty naked. Like you see kind of everything.
He's not.
So there's this beautiful. Well, there's a beautiful thing he did on Mad TV, Dana. If you don't remember his stuff, you got to look up him pretending he's at the car show with his car.
Oh, Tank.
Trying to get the women to come over to him.
Yeah,
that's one of the best. Like it's almost. Oh, it's so good.
He's like,
so but then also his other character, which I can't imitate because it's 2021.
So he's
a
Mad TV guy. He's a Mad TV guy.
Yeah, he's a he did stand up before that. He got his big break. I only know this because I'm a really huge fan and watch all this stuff. But he got his big break from Pauly Shore and the mom who owned Mitzi Shore. He was a doorman. I think it was in La Jolla at the Comedy Store. He was a doorman, and they liked his look. And I'm assuming maybe at that time there wasn't enough Asian comics, is my best guess. And they liked his look, and he was a loyal worker and gave him a chance. I think even his first tour ever, and I don't think he'd been doing stand-up that long, was with Pauly Shore.
Wow. By the way, you say something very powerful. There may not be enough Asian comics now, like you said. Like 40
yeah, there you go.
40 years later, like, you know.
I like Steve Byrne.
He's really good.
Yeah, Steve Byrne.
And Dana goes to Google again, like, who is Steve Byrne?
Well, you know what?
I'm gonna do that all day. I'm gonna just.
I think especially if you're Asian, then you kind of are, you lean in a little bit more to like Asian comics, like in me being half, and you too, Steven, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Because when we were young, they didn't have any, really. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Know?
So then you kind of know, like, you're like, like I know too. I feel like I know too much about Bobby Lee.
Yeah, actually, back in the day, when they needed an Asian comic, they just had Jim Belushi play them.
Yeah, right.
Oh, God.
And before that, it was just Marlon Brando.
Yeah, or who was the gentleman in Breakfast at Tiffany? Breakfast at Tiffany's too.
Mickey
they had
Rooney.
that one.
Mickey Rooney.
Yeah, like,
I remember growing up. My
Mickey Rooney. Offensive.
I'm not kidding about Marlon Brando. He actually played a Japanese guy, like in some movies, back in the day, like with his eyes taped back, and
I believe it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I believe that 100%. They had, Native Americans that were white dudes painted dark. Like, it's like, that's not Native American guy. What?
Rape his co-star in one of his films?
Who's this?
No, you just put it down.
Marlon
again.
Brando.
Oh, I thought you said Charlie Sheen. I was like,
Sheen.
Possibly.
Wait, what about Charlie Brando?
Charlie Brando, where are we going?
Don't talk shit about Charlie Brando.
But you know
Love
what?
Charlie Brando.
I want the self-esteem of Bobby Lee. Like
to do what he's doing. Yeah,
the man is naked all the time and doesn't care about his gut. I want to be that person. I still request to turn the lights off. Okay, I want to be that confident.
I don't know that he
be Eric Andre. No, I don't want to be him.
Confidence. I think he just does it. I don't know if it actually has to do with confidence, though.
Yeah.
That's confidence. I mean, come on. When you have low self-esteem, you're just like, oh, let me cover up, or you're worried about every little thing. Bobby Lee is already like, he's like Jason Mewes in fucking Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, like that whole scene where wild horses. He does not care. He is that person. I want that. Like, I need that in my life.
It's funny you mentioned that. I just mentioned I would like to have the confidence of Eric Andre, who ended his comedy special with doing exactly that.
It's you just have to admit to yourself that you're inadequate in every way and you don't care, and then you can do it. Because if you really care too much about what people think and you plan on doing that, your world is going to be crushed. Right? Because the thing that people don't realize is nobody's going to live up to your expectations. I'm sorry. That's just reality. Right? Nobody.
You don't think I know that? I know that.
No, I know. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
That brings us to another question, Suwon.
Oh, yes.
As you started stand-up comedy, did you have those moments of reality coming through and going, oh, sometimes this doesn't go well, and I'm going to have to keep going?
Oh God, of course. I mean, you know, there's so many, you know what they say that like you're not really doing it until you bomb, right? Like you have to really bomb. And no, I have had some good ones. Like I had a show, I did 20 minutes for these nurse practitioners, and it was just a couple other comics. It was very, you know, tight. And they like, first of all, the setup was weird. We were in the middle of a room. It was like this lit room. They're eating dinner. Did they even care about us being there? But they just, I would say they hated me, but that would be, I don't know, self-confidence. You know what I mean? Maybe it wasn't about me, but it was a terrible set. And I got paid.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you just have to eat it and then just keep going, you know, give up on yourself, right?
You just kind of tempted of ending your set with, glad you didn't laugh, still got your money.
Yeah, thanks for the wine. What are you going to do, you know? I mean, it just, sometimes it's not right. Like even if I think like I do well most of the time, and I like, you know, I like my sets, I love doing it and it's fun. And then every now and then it's like, oh, I don't know what happened. You know, that was rough.
We'll address this to everybody in the room, but we'll have Suwon answer first. If there was anything you could change in stand-up/comedy in 2021, what would it be?
Well, this is a good question. Okay, so we all know about cancel culture. As a comic, we're not fans, right? I mean, I'm not a fan of cancel culture. I'm not a fan of like everything being so politically correct. However, you know, I don't think we should, you know, yeah, I think if a guy is a rapist, maybe you don't want to have him on your show. I don't know. But, you know, I think that there's like a line, right? And so I would like to not have things be so harsh about, you know, it's like, because like you're not even having fun. Like what are you going to be able to even say? Like, what are you going to talk about? Like, I don't know. It seems a little too rigid. Like it went too far.
Yeah, I get you.
That's my.
Yeah, I don't like the political. I don't like it either. When you start a show with, hey, I haven't seen such an ugly audience, and they're dicks to you for the next 5 minutes. It's not nice.
Well, yeah, you wonder why. I mean, come on.
I do enjoy when comics attack the audience because their jokes didn't land. It's the most hilarious thing that I see. It's like you see their downfall play out on stage, and you're like, no, stop. But then they keep going, and then they're like, you just don't know comedy. This is hilarious. And I'm like, keep going.
Come back with that $1 million check. It's that funny. Just come back with that, and we'll talk.
Right.
By the way, if you're ever going to go to one of my shows, that doesn't actually happen.
No, yeah, that's not. We're all, you know, anybody who's taken any kind of classes in comedy or any kind of guidance knows you don't want to just pick apart your audience. You know, like you want them to like you first before you start. You know. Start picking on people, you know.
You're like,
do any at all.
A material. Why aren't you guys laughing? Come on.
I think the problem is you.
You guys are so unattractive. You don't get this.
What do you think, Dana?
Like like in terms of like, can you guys hear me? We're still like, I apologize, I drifted away, but I'm still listening to us talk about cancel culture and yeah, like, so, I'm sorry, what we didn't like about comedy last year. Like, let me just say this. I don't have any complaints, honestly, because as someone who you know, like I always tell this kind of this story about coming back to comedy after like not taking myself seriously as one and dropping back in to stay in October of 2019. And then I look up in February and we've got this other situation. So we're not able to publicly mic. But what Zoom has done is it's been, you know, parents complain about Zoom school. But for those of us who are, you know, really, really shaping and refining, we've been in comic Zoom school. And I can't, and if I can't complain about the opportunities that Comedy Zoom School has presented over for, especially for me personally, over the last, you know, whatever. Now we're in month 11 of the bullshit, you know, you know. And I say this, you know, definitely. I've been in what America calls a minority group all my life, and as not as just as a Black person, but as a woman, as any, you know, number of things. I think that cancel culture behind, you know, not being PC, but I think that we can all have a greater appreciation for a new normal around, you know, certain things that were okay to say but are not okay to say, like you know, obviously there's still going to be, and I can only speak for me, there's still going to be a good number of folks who use the N-word, but I think that, and certainly comics use it and to comic effect, and I don't know that comics are being canceled for, you know, for using it in comedy, but that we have a heightened awareness around it, you know, for any type of slur. Like I'm talking about me because I've been Black all my life, but you know, Suwon, I know you know, Stefan, I know you know, Stacey, I know you know, Dan, we love you. You know,
hey, none of ours hurt us. Call me a honky cracker, Whitey. I don't give a
right.
fuck.
You know,
I still have all the land.
Right. That's my point. Like, that's my point. And that's my point. Who I mean, on the show last night, and Thenya rather talked about like being on like slave plantations and da 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 da. We were like, well, if you're from the South, all of it, you know, a good number of it has blood on the grass.
Yeah.
But but in that regard, I don't want to get too far because I do understand your point, Suwon. But to the original question, I just can't complain about 2021 from a comedy standpoint. But am I raring to get onto a stage and get onto a mic and, you know, and get on with it? Of course. But thank God for Zoom Comedy School. I think I'm going to make a T-shirt that I graduated from Zoom Comedy School. Like that's what I'm gonna make a T-shirt, for better or for worse, you know.
Yeah.
Is there any addition or anything you would want to improve to make the experience better or change
from 2021 about comedy?
Just in general, yeah.
Oh, like fuck COVID. Yeah, I mean y'all know the deal. Look, if we could just like the whole reason that this motherfucker is shut down, could we you know, turn back the hands of time on that shit? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we turn it all the way back to the Obama administration when people cared about the possibility of a global pandemic and were willing to stop it and had a commission that would see to it. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, that's one of those things, you know, realizing that so many things are shut down and how people are dealing with it, and then you have all these Californians moving to Texas because their stuff is so loose. And then you have the GOAT getting coronavirus, right? Poor Chappelle, man, that's brutal.
Wait, go back?
Oh no! A lot of the comedians moved to Texas. I'm not saying he moved to Texas. That's not my statement. Okay. But they were doing a lot of shows. Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan, Donnell Rawlings, a lot of the amazing comedians that were doing shows up there. And I guess at least from what the podcast I was watching, that they had guests who were hanging out with Chappelle. They were saying that one of the guests brought their guest, and that guest is the one that had the coronavirus, and that's how Dave got it. Because you can't control everybody.
I'm under a rock. Dave Chappelle's coronavirus?
Yes.
How did I miss that? Like I was, and here's the thing, I was just going to tell you guys.
You weren't at that show.
Huh?
No, it's a good thing. No, none of us were at that show.
The next show is totally different.
I was just gonna say, our girl Ricky got another, like the Emmy.
Oh, I saw that. Congratulations!
Right. So our girl Ricky, one of our first, not first guests, but you know what I'm saying. But like, I didn't know Dave had. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, Dave got it. I think Donnell maybe. I'm 50-50 on that one. I'm not 100%. I think he might have though.
She talked about he loved Donnell that night.
But Joe didn't get it. Joe Rogan didn't get it.
Look at that.
That dude is healthy as a horse. So I'm not shocked.
Prejudice and racism in the corona. I'm just teasing.
Corona is a racist bastard.
Right?
Well, it could also be that he like worked out like crazy.
No,
Yeah, I mean, he was probably not exposed to the person because, come on, there's a pretty good likelihood that maybe Chappelle was doing a smoke sesh with everyone, and then somebody.
It could have been a joint pass. That's possible. It's possible.
I mean, it's too though, right? Like he imbibes.
But but he seems like the guy that goes to his own car and uses his own pot because like that's yours, and I don't want to mix right now. I'm doing a thing, a cleanse.
But Ian, well, see, the
only
thing
this.
Too, the thing is too is that we have this string of wanting to be respectful and polite to people, right? So it's really hard for us as human beings, even with coronavirus. I mean, we'll catch ourselves and okay, my bad. No, we can't do that. But sometimes you're in the heat of the moment, and someone's passing a joint, and these are all your deep friends. You guys are all in deep. You may not turn that joint down. I'm just saying.
It's not even with a group of friends. People will go ahead and they don't know person across from them, and they'll still take a toke from that blunt. I mean, that's...
Oh no, yeah, you don't want to be doing that these days.
Well,
however, I used to always check for mouth sores. You always look for mouth sores.
Check for mouth sores.
What happened just now? I felt like
you got a flashlight. Open.
Hey, you want to share this with me? Here, let me see your mouth. No, you look cool. Thanks.
Okay.
No, but in reality, the thing's airborne. Just being within close proximity, you don't have to touch or anything. Just being within that close proximity, you get it. I mean, that's how I got it.
Oh, you had it? Oh my God, were you sick? Oh no.
I was dying. The only good thing that happened over COVID is I lost 10 pounds of the stupid quarantine weight I gained. I'm like, do I want COVID again to lose the last 10?
You're like, this muffin is gone.
You're saying you might recommend it to a friend.
COVID was the most horrible thing I went through. Like, there were days where my eyes hurt so bad I couldn't open them. I had zero energy. I couldn't even light up, I couldn't even heat up a can of soup. Oh. It was horrible. The only good thing that came out of COVID is I fucking lost weight. Would I do it again? No, I would go freaking ingest a worm and just have that shit the inside of me than get COVID again.
Well, we do want to say that we hope that anybody who has it, and we'll address this also towards Dave Chappelle and anybody else that was around that and his family, that they have a speedy recovery and get healthy again, and
right.
Whew. I'm glad you said that. I thought you were going to say I suggest you stop having it, and that's not.
No, I don't wish anybody bad, man. Even my enemies, I don't wish any of that on anybody.
It's so crazy though how it is. It's not only a roller coaster. You don't know exactly what kind of symptoms are gonna hit you, because some days you'll be good, and then some days it's the worst. But my grandmother is 69, 0 symptoms. She was asymptomatic, but myself, my aunt who is only in her late 30s, my uncle who's in his late 30s, we got hit really hard, and you guys know what happened with my grandfather. But
condolences, my deepest condolences.
Wow. But yeah, no, I mean, my grandmother, nope, nothing. The only thing she got was just a very short temporary time of loss of taste. That's it.
And she has very strong genetics.
Yes. You know what? I am jealous she lost her sense of taste, because I would have been so freaking skinny by now had I lost my sense of taste. The only reason I eat is because I like flavor. Come on, I'm Hispanic. Like seasoning, flavor. Why do you think most white girls are skinny? It's because they don't know how to season their food.
Ah, yes.
Did you think she lost her sense of taste because she started watching OAN or something?
Oh, jeez.
Wait, what?
She's like, I'm lost. What?
Sometimes that's the reaction that I like too.
So we don't get too sidetracked. Tell us about Hot Medusa.
Yeah, Hot Medusa. Yeah. Oh, thanks. And yeah, Dana's been on the show. Sue, that was so good. It was it's been super fun. It's an all-female monthly show, and I produce it through Flappers. And I like to have a lot of women of color, especially Black women, headline. And, it doesn't have to be, but I prefer that. And so I look for women that are headliners that are Black women, especially, because why not? I mean, this is the time to promote and to like let's do something, that is positive and good in the world. And then I'm also cool with having other women headliners. That's fine.
Yeah, diversity in comedy is a beautiful thing. Diversity all across entertainment.
Right.
I have a question though. I'm curious, how did you come up with the title Hot Medusa? Because obviously we all know through Greek mythology who Medusa was, and so when I started seeing about your shows, I was actually coveting being on your show long before it was my time. But I was totally like so and so's on Hot Medusa this month, so and so's on Hot Medusa next month. I want to be on Hot Medusa, and then when I got your email, I was so touched. I was so excited. But how did you come up with the name?
Well, it started because we were going to open mic. So I right now I produce it by myself, but I used to produce it with Mary Bouquet. And then even before that, I started with 2 other gals. It was 4 of us. And we all went to the same open mic. There were just so many, those toxic dudes. I'm sorry, but you know what I mean? It was so toxic. And it was turn these fuckers to stone. You know what I mean? We just needed to have a little extra power on these guys. And it was just, I don't know. We just came up with it because we wanted to do something fun. And then Hot Medusa sounds cool to me.
Oh, so that sounds like a badass t-shirt too.
Right? Yeah.
Turn dudes to stone, and we are waiting on merch. I did Hot Medusa.
I'd buy one.
Yeah.
And you've got a fantastic lineup coming in February. Jackie Fabulous is.
Yes, tell us about that.
Oh my God, so good, right? Jackie Fabulous is the headliner. She's from AGT. She's just fantastic. She's really good. There's a lot of other really good comics who, in my brain, she's the one person. Casey Conway she's from back east. She's a clean comic, a lesbian. She's awesome. Byronique Barbie. She's really cool too. I was on a show with her too. She's great. Okay, I don't have it in front of me. So
all right, so I'm gonna tell you, so you've got Jackie Fabulous headlining. There's you, Keisha Norton, who we've had on the broadcast, Kim Clevenger, who we've had on the broadcast. Mary Bouquet is hosting, who also has her own show that she just launched as well. Joanne Barron, Casey Conley, who you mentioned, and Caroline Hawthorne, and Byronique Barbie. You've got this incredible lineup.
And when is that show, Dana?
You tell them, because
February 18th.
February 18th, okay.
Joanne Barron, I actually met her at the Comedy Store. She was the principal in This Is 40. She's an actress. She's a comedian. She's been off, I don't know about on Broadway, maybe off Broadway. Anyway, she's hilarious. Yeah. And also, she's an older lady, so I'm really happy to have her on too. She's great, hilarious, so funny. Yeah, and sometimes Comedy Stores can be rough, right? If you go to potluck or something like that, and you're waiting around. I mean, they've never picked me. They've never. I don't know how many times I've gone, and
Whitney Cummings tells some really crazy stories about doing stand up there, just a lot of chauvinistic guys and really sexist, and
I'm not. I'm not one of the guys. That's not my personality. Is to be one of the dudes.
Me neither.
I believe you.
Oh, fuck them. They start wars. I hang out on my own.
When we just had that 2021 conversation, I have to say this. Say this. As someone who's loved comedy forever, tried it, didn't do it, came back. I feel like because of trailblazers and women like you, and even though I've never obviously met Whitney Cummings, but all of the experiences that you guys have had brought us to the place we are now. And so when I'm in, you just got on Clubhouse too. So when I'm in Clubhouse rooms and people start talking about how hard it is for women in comedy, I'm not saying that it's not, but what I know for sure is that there are too many safe spaces that women can now find. And I don't know what to compare it to because I don't have another experience on this current journey. I started out doing mics at Dow, and then from the Dow mic, I learned about the women's Flappers mic. And even though somebody, I don't know if you heard about it, but they've ruined the Flappers mic, and the women's Flappers mic is gone. but
wow.
like this jerk wanted to be there, and and he was told by the host, our dear friend Anna Michelle, that he was not allowed, and he wrote back and told the club that he thought they were sexist. So they've ended that night. Now, what they created in its place, which I went to today, was they've created a women's joke workshop that's 2 hours long. That's 1 to 3. But what I'm saying is, I'm willing to bet money, Suwon, that back in those Laugh Factory days, that even, and we're talking about like in this millennium. I think it's interesting when we talk about women in comedy, we're not talking about 40 years ago. We're still talking about 2000. We're still talking about in a new fucking millennium that women are going to try to do comedy. When I hear Lisa Sunset stories talking about 1996 and 97, when we're thinking, at least from someone who was nowhere near the dream at that moment, I'm thinking these are modern fucking times. Like how is this possible? But I say all that to say that, off of the labor, the sweat, the blood, the tears of you guys' experience, we now are in this second decade of the 2000s, and this beautiful thing I think is happening. And so when I'm talking about comedy, I'm talking about, girl, y'all better get in here. Like, what are you saying right now? There's space, there's room. And if there isn't a mic, because of Zoom school, I'll create a mic. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. Somebody got the mic canceled.
I'm so grateful for your work. Even though, how long has the Hot Medusa show existed?
Wow.
Not that long. I mean, it's been about 2 years.
So it's not a 2-year-old show, but that is. And how long have you been a comic, Suwon?
Well, I started in 2009, but I took a big break and then came back to it. So I don't know, like I kind of say 5 years, but I'm not exactly.
But let's just include everything. But I guess all I'm trying to say is point out is that for your decade or more, this is the fruit of that labor for everybody's experience. Lisa Sunstead, on the other hand, has, she's been steady since 96. And on the backs of that labor, Bobby, we love Bobby Oliver. On the backs of that labor, we have the moment that we're living in now. So I feel like, thank goodness for where we are today. And again, I just think that, the show is only 2 years old, but there's a song, there was an R&B song, like maybe in the 70s, and it was called An Overnight Sensation, but the lyric was, but it's been 10 years in the making. Like, I don't know if anybody knows the song, but that's my point. Right. I know, right. I'm a little, all of these things are decades in the making before they happen. And so, we wouldn't have it without your experience.
Is there a way to sign a petition to get them to open up another all women's mic or whatever?
It becomes a lawsuit,
right? It actually, unfortunately,
crazy.
A lawsuit.
It takes one entitled person to run it.
It just boggles my mind that somebody would try to claim that shit with how many male things that there are. That how could if I was the club, I would have backed it off.
Well, I do have a question for the crowd. Would there be anything negative if there was a guy that did a men's only mic?
No, I mean the problem is it's intended to be a safe
so we could talk about thoughts and wieners.
But it's intended to be a safe space for women because in reality, when we go to mics, all you hear are dick jokes or women are bitches or there's a lot of hostility towards women. Or if women go on stage and they want to talk about ovulating, periods, sexual discharge, men are cringing, right? So it's just an opportunity.
Sexual discharge, is that a way that you leave the military or
how
is that?
Totally. I mean that. You know what I mean. Anyway.
No, I know.
The question that the men only mics did have a name, and do you know what they were called? Open mics.
I guess this is before my open mic time because I haven't been in an open mic like that yet, but I think it's because I started during the Corona time, so I'm on Zoom mics.
Right.
Guys, I'm not going to do that open mic on Zoom. Zoom is for the queers, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
okay.
People are very.
Hey, can I borrow $1?
Honestly, I enjoyed them, and I'm really bummed out about it because when I would go to these mics in person. It was nice not to be feel uncomfortable by a guy approaching you, trying to initiate conversation. Like, okay, you're hitting on me. I politely try to tell you to go away, and you're still not getting the attention. And it was a common instance every time I go to mics, especially going to mics late at night. People have been drinking. So it's nice to have a safe haven. If you identify as a woman, perfect. Come on over. The only thing is just be respectful and mindful that this is our place because other people make us uncomfortable at other places. Like, I'm bond, but I understand legal technicality over it. But it just takes one entitled douchebag to ruin everything.
Wow. Yeah, that upsets me. Sorry, go ahead, Dana.
You're there, like people, men, those who are that way, except you, Dan and Stephen. Y'all want to police your space.
Sometimes. That's my wife.
Right.
I can be a dick. I'm sorry. I drink sometimes.
They want to police the safe space, but where were you to help keep us safe? You know what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden you think that it's not fair for us to have a safe space, but which of you ever did anything for us to feel safe in in this previous iteration for that space? Unfortunately, y'all know I've been black all my life. I've been fighting a long time. So I have all the arguments, at the top, at the top of mine. Because the same thing has always been said about black people. Well, what if white people wanted a month? I was like, you have the other fucking 11. Like, what are you saying right now?
How many hundreds of years? How many hundreds of years? When
the Wiz was coming on TV about 3 years ago, someone actually put on Twitter, like, what if we wanted to make a white version of the Wiz?
Oh my God.
Right. You made one with
exactly. Exactly.
Oh, but there is a comedian that, dude, what is it, Kurt Braunohliger or something? Because he grew up in the Midwest in an all-white town, and they want to do the Wiz, and they only had white people to do it, so they still wanted to do it. So they did an all-white Wiz just because they didn't have any black people in their school to do it.
Oh my God!
As long as their heart's in the right place,
like their heart wasn't in the wrong place. If it's just because of that, it's like we can't get anybody.
Eveline? That's what I want to know. That's what I need to know. Who was Eveline? That's what I need to know.
I'm ashamed. And it disgusts me that somebody would go and destroy a safe place for people to go to express themselves. It's like, if you don't like it, don't go.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know what's crazy?
True.
Wait, what did you say, Suwon? It's great. What?
Well, I mean, like, it's like he's really taking that in. Like, it's true. And it's just true because going to open mics, it's exactly what Stacy said. Like, where I've been on plenty of mics where I was the only woman, and then a guy would stand up there and say like how he hates all these women's voices, like all these women are assholes, and and then I'm going up, and I'm like, okay, great, or be at a mic where a guy would just like be so perpetual on this like sexual energy stuff, and then just I'm the only woman there staring at me, like, and it's just so
uncomfortable.
So it doesn't make you want to go up and go, sounds like someone hasn't been laid in years
forever.
Yeah.
The men
you don't
at open mics are
wow.
it's like they haven't eaten days. They're just determined and eager, and they're like staring at you directly, like, I'm trying to make eye contact. Look in my eyes.
That's where it's like it gets me thinking. Are they doing this? I think there's intention to this, right? Because why go to a mic just to say? I mean, I get certain jokes. Okay, if you got 2 jokes about your wiener, whatever, dude. They're probably not funny anyway, but whatever. But if you got a whole set, like a whole 5 or 10 minutes on just stuff about, I mean, come on, dude, really?
I personally think it's more of an attempt to. It's not an equality thing. It's if you don't let me in, I'm going to get a lawyer, and I'm going to use this to my advantage, because that's what it's meant to be. Again, it's meant to be a safe space.
No,
you
exactly.
have other mics available to you through that same venue, and you're making a big deal out of this one that happens once a week. You're doing it as an attempt to, threaten a lawsuit so you can get an easy paycheck. That's the way that I see it.
And I'm serious. If there's a petition or there's a way to have them even fight to get that back, or a way to move it somewhere else, and anybody needs help setting that up, let me know, because I would love to be a part of that. It's not a petition thing.
It becomes, again, like you become susceptible for a lawsuit, and it's already difficult enough. And I love Flappers. Flappers is like home. It was always a stage that I loved performing at. They're already going through enough struggles as it is now.
Financially, yeah.
And it's not worth going through another potential one just
Yeah,
because someone's being an asshole.
It's
then maybe we might just have to create a safe space Zoom open mic for all females, and no guys allowed.
What? The
reality, I will just run it and giggle in the back.
I was saying, but Bobby does that. But Bobby Oliver does that. I think we're so grateful for Bobby. I haven't. My schedule has been crazy, but Bobby does that, and she always says that she knows that what she's doing is not, is not above the law. But she's going to do it as long as she can,
and people should be fine with that. I don't understand. That weirds me out that there's a guy, and not to drag this on any longer, but that weirds me out that there's a guy who's offended that there's an all ladies thing. Like there's you had cigar clubs and golf. You had cigar clubs and golf places that didn't allow women for how many decades, and you're mad that there's a safe space for nice ladies to do comedy stuff. Like, are you really?
It's not an offense because there are multiple women's open mics available online. He's not going towards that. He's going to the one that has a big name behind it that he potentially can sue for.
Right.
He's going towards the one that can give him an easy paycheck. He's not going after if you guys were to do your own open mics that were women only, the reality is he's not going to go ahead and cause a nuisance over it. Yeah. He's going to go to the one that's a big company that he can say, well, if you don't do it, I'm going to sue you.
That's so crazy.
You should test this with the furries only mic and see how it goes.
Furries only, oh Lord.
And then again, this is all allegedly. I don't know what's going on.
No,
that's
don't
sue me.
I'm just saying out of the furry. What?
Yeah, that's just. I'm just saying that's upsetting. Wow. Shame on that individual for putting. What is it? Messing without. I'm trying to remember how the hell I said it last time. Damn it. Who
you didn't get invited to the party because you suck. Now deal with it.
Well, there's that, and why would you want to yuck up someone's yum, right? Why would you want to yuck up someone's yum? That's just I don't understand that.
That sounds really, really erotic sometimes.
Holy Lord!
Sounds disgusting. I've never heard that before. What does that mean?
They say that at Landmark, right? That's where I know it from. Is the Landmark people that used to say that.
What is Landmark?
It sounds like a hit. It sounds like someone hitting on you. They're like, "Hey, baby, mind if I yuck up your yum?" I mean,
it's just basically like this, right? Just because you hate apple pie doesn't mean they have to stop serving it.
Right. Don't fuck up apple pie for everybody else.
Yeah, just because you don't like it, right? So let everybody have their fucking pie, man. Assholes.
And if they have the Boston clam chowder, don't come in here with the. Oh wait, which one's the one that's good?
Which one's the one that's good?
Boston.
I know.
New England.
Not that red clam chowder. No. Right. I remember being a kid and loving clam chowder, and then I would order at one place, they brought it by, and I said, "Do you hate me?" And the waiter just cried.
Oh my God! Don't talk about food. I'm so hungry right now.
Stacy is starving herself right now.
I am. How'd you know? I didn't get those last 10 off.
Oh my!